Has anybody ever been to the King's Chamber? Anybody went to the Giza Plateau and visited those pyramids? Crazy story, I was up in the pyramids and it was on 2012 and December 21st, the day that my calendar was ending, and I was laying in the pyramid sarcophagus, King's Chamber, and I had an out-of-our experience. What we've been waiting for. I'm Jason Youngstiles, and my life purpose is to keep you young, healthy, and wealthy, and sexy. Because there's nothing more sexy than a coherent torus field. How many of you knew that you have an electromagnetic torus field around your body right now? It extends out to about 3 feet at least, sometimes more, depending on how much charge you have in your body. Okay, I'd like everybody to stand up. Just put your hands together, and on 3, we're gonna clap. 1, 2, 3. All right, now let's send our arms up, down to the side, down to our waist, back up to our heart. Okay, we just outlined our toroidal field. Okay, that's our personal space. When people come in that personal space, we have a tendency to pick up on their thoughts and emotions, or they pick up on our thoughts and emotions. All right, thank you you can go ahead and sit down. So, today I'm going to teach you about the hygiene of keeping your torus field big and how you can keep it grow. But first, I get this question asked all the time. How did you start doing this? I always have to tell everybody my backstory. I was in the Air Force on a pararescue team for 12 years. Anybody heard of pararescue? Anybody here in the military? Ex-military? Paramedics? Okay, I was a paramedic in the Air Force on a helicopter. We would go rescue pilots when they get shot down, where they're in the water and stuck in the mountains, behind enemy lines, in combat. Anytime there's a military operation going on, there's a pararescue team standing by to extract a team if they get compromised. So that's what I did. It's the most elite trained rescue team in the world. So after about 12 years, I was in a couple helicopter accidents. Could you tell that I fell 60 feet from a helicopter, broke both my legs and compressed my spine, and had a helicopter blade chop off half my arm? Anybody tell that? So when I got out, I was pretty banged up. On paper, I was 100% disabled. Between all the injuries and the PTSD, yeah, they put me through the works. So, there's always a silver lining in a negative situation, right? Do you guys reach for the silver lining when you're in a negative situation? I always do. I try to find it. And with this situation, I ended up finding my life purpose was to not only figure out how to heal my own injuries and maintain a quality of life, and not take pain pills and antidepressants for the rest of my life, and all the other drugs and pharmaceuticals to counteract the side effects of those. You know what I mean? Has anybody ever been addicted to pain pills? You know what I mean? Okay, so I started studying alternative medicine, or holistic medicine, and I got into pyramid energy. That was the first thing I got into. It kind of like stuck in me. I was dreaming about it and I went with it. So after sleeping in a pyramid for 3 months, I noticed I wasn't needing pain pills or antidepressants very much. I got off of them. So then I started touring the world for about 5 years. I hit all the different pyramids around the world, studying the ancient builder races. What did they know? Why were they building such elaborate buildings? And on every continent, thousands of them. Has anybody ever been to the King's Chamber in Giza? Anybody went to the Giza Plateau and visited those pyramids? Crazy story, I was up in the pyramids and it was on 2012 and December 21st, the day that my calendar was ending, and I was laying in the pyramid sarcophagus, King's Chamber, and I had an out-of-our experience. and I was up above the earth and traveling around the earth. It was pretty cool. So, is anybody here having back pain, severe back pain, and you're dealing with severe back pain?
Well, not severe.
We're level 5?
Some, yeah.
Anybody else? What level? 2, 3? Level 5? Would you like to come up and get a little live demonstration, a little session? Okay. Just come over here and sit in this chair. Get comfortable. I'm gonna take away your pain. Where's your pain?
Low back.
Perfect. Okay, so just lean back on this. Be comfortable. Just sit there. All right. And so right now we are playing frequencies from the iTorus app, specifically 20 hertz for pain and swelling, and then it's going to switch over to 40 hertz as well. So these are really good frequencies that I go to, that NASA has done most of the studies on figuring out these frequencies. And it's, everybody heard of PEMF therapy, pulsing electromagnetic field therapy? Yes, most everybody. So that's the backbone of this technology. So PEMF therapy has been around for decades, used in doctors' offices. It's the fifth element of health. So when I was studying the pyramids, I realized these ancient builders were tapping into the fifth element of health. The electromagnetic field of the earth is pulsing 24/7 through us every day. We don't see it. Just like a fish probably doesn't see water until they take it out of the water. When they took the astronauts out of the atmosphere, they came back with all kinds of injuries, bone density loss, muscle atrophy, and they figured out they needed to supplement the fifth element of health up in the space shuttles. So the ancient builders put these pyramids building with golden ratio structures and specific materials to harness that fifth element of health, the electromagnetic field. When they did that, it created a funnel. And that funnel with negative ions is very therapeutic. So the ancient builders, there's a story about Zechariah Sitchin. The Sumerian tablets, he interpreted those tablets, the oldest written language on earth. These people came to earth, these extraterrestrials, they started losing their lifespan, and they built these pyramids to increase their lifespan back to their normal, because they're not used to the electrical field on earth. That's what is written in the oldest text in the world. Who drove here the furthest? Who's traveled the furthest to get here? Anybody from England, overseas? Anybody from New York? Anybody from out of state? What state? Jordan. Who's further?
Michigan.
Who's further?
Ohio.
Ohio. New York. That's the furthest so far. All right, New York, you're the winner. Come on up and claim your prize. Thank you for traveling so far. We have an iTorus IZ for you. And this is a seraphim shield pendant. So you wear this, and you wear it over your heart. Your heart is beating an electromagnetic field. What's your name?
V.
V, thank you.
Thank you so much.
The electromagnetic field coming off your heart is generating this electromagnetic toroidal field. When it pulses and it hits this sensor coil through inductive coupling, it jumps onto the sensor coil and creates a sympathetic resonance between your heart and this perfect symmetrical shape called the torus. And what that does, it creates your torus to stay in balance and helps it stay large, especially when we're getting hit by all this Wi-Fi. There's hundreds of phones in this area, and they're all talking to each other, and it's hitting our electrical field, so it's distorting us whether we know it or not. So, I like to teach people the principles of how things work. If you understand the principles of how things work, then you can use that thing a lot better, right? Okay, so talk to you about the principles of the pyramids, how they work. They're capturing the electromagnetic field of the earth. Now I want to teach you principles of the universe. So Tesla said it best. He said, everything's made of energy. You got thermal, electromagnetic, kinetic. Everything's made of frequencies. Everything is oscillating, vibrating. Everything has a frequency set. So, your cells have a frequency. Your organs have a frequency. Walter Russell wrote a book after he got struck by lightning in the 1900s. All of a sudden became a genius. He started seeing all these downloads and visions. And he transformed the periodic table as we know it from the 1800s, where they illustrate the atomic weight of each atom. And he proposed this periodic table, each element has a frequency. So carbon has a frequency, oxygen has a frequency, nitrogen has a frequency. And they all correlate in these octaves. And some cancel each other out. So, we're diving into technology in the future and now where we can identify a frequency to change the chemistry in your body. Frequency will be the future of medicine, said Albert Einstein, right? So, right now, everybody in this room has a resonant frequency. We have over 400 billion chemical reactions happening every second. Our science departments are left speechless trying to explain this complexity. 98% of our atoms are replaced every year. We have an entire new body every 7 years or sooner. I'm going to teach you how. You have new rods and cones in your eyes every 48 hours. Your stomach line is new every 5 days. Did you guys know that? It's amazing. You have a new nervous system every 8 months. This is all documented science, measured. New liver every 5 months. So if you have an old liver that's injured and every 5 months you can grow a new one, or new bones every year, or a new nervous system every 8 months, why can't we grow it to be new, to be rejuvenated? Well, your mind and your mind control over matter is a key component on growing new cells. You need to give the cell new information. So when a cell replicates through mitosis, it asks, is there any new information? No? Okay, we'll just replicate into the same mitosis. We'll just do the same cell over and over and over and over. But if you give that cell, through intent, in your meditation process, grow a new, rejuvenated, perfect cell. You tell your cells, and you give them that data, that new information will be heard in your cells. You have mind control over matter. By the age 35, your body has been programmed to think for you. So 95% of all of your thoughts, your body is acting automatically by age 35. You can change that, and you can learn how to command those cells and have a different set of rules and beliefs to operate with. I'm going to show you how. Now, when we go through mitosis, our cells need electrons, they need energy to perform this process. Dr. Jerry Tennant said it best in his book, Healing is Voltage. Has anybody ever read Healing is Voltage? Okay, it's a great book. The more energy a cell has across the cell membrane, a healthy cell has about 80 millivolts. The more energy it has, the more it can replicate faster and rejuvenate faster. The less energy it has, the more sick it is. A cell that has about 20 millivolts is considered cancerous. Does that make sense? So the more energy an organism has, the longer it will live, the healthier it will be. Has anybody ever heard of vortex-based mathematics? By Marco wrote it. Such a huge discovery, they call this the fingerprint of God. Now, Marco wrote and discovered this decades ago. He open sourced it to the planet for us to figure out how to use this technology. It reveals how energy is expressing itself mathematically. The vortex energy is thought to be a source of the non-decaying spin of the electron and the underpinning geometry of the universe and the fabric of time itself. I'm going to show you how this math can determine all these numbers have a position in space and time. All those numbers can scale out to infinity and shrink back down to 9 numbers. 9 is the prime, 1 through 9. 3, 6, 9 is a very unique sequence in that prime as well. So people are discovering how to use this technology for the energy industry, the travel sector, medical sector, remapping the genome, and for quantum computer processing. We have the engineer from Microsoft. He just developed and got a patent for quantum computing software for a new operating system based on this vortex mathematics. So we haven't seen that come out yet, but that's on its way. So all these numbers have a position in space and time, and they all reduce down to the number 9. 9 is the prime. And you can add, multiply, subtract, divide out to infinity with that 9 prime. Now I want to illustrate, your toroidal field is not just one. You have a physical, you have an emotional, you have a mental, and you have a spiritual. So you're multidimensional. And this is just the basics. It does scale out higher than that. It scales out all the way to source energy. So right now we're going to talk about the 3 fundamental toroidal fields. Your emotions are dictated by your beliefs. Your beliefs and your emotions are controlling your chemistry, your hormones. You're upset, you start developing new chemistry, right? Now, all these images, or imagine your toroidal field is a holographic field, and if you're thinking about a thought, you're looking off to the distance, picking up on a memory. It's neural mapped to your body, to your cells, to your nervous system. So that neural mapping, when you're thinking about that memory, and if you're focusing on something that's traumatic, it's happening as if it's real time. And when it's happening in real time, it's creating a chemical reaction in the body. So your mind is controlling the body. You have mind over matter. And whenever you're distorted, whenever you're thinking about something that's traumatic, your toroidal field shrinks and it becomes distorted. And that becomes your resonant frequency. So when you have heart coherence, when you're centered in your heart, and you have forgiveness and allowance, and you're centered with your heart, your emotions, and your mind, your toroidal field is much larger, and it's bigger, and it's full of energy. So you're healthier that way. So you're not holding on to the trauma. When we hold on to the trauma, it actually causes disease. 86% of all disease is caused by stress, right? You guys heard that? Yeah. So how do we correct the stress? You gotta go to the belief system. You can't have an emotion without a belief. So now you have 3 toruses nested here. The outer torus, you got an inner torus that represents your body. The outer torus outside that represents your subconscious, but it's actually higher. So you got to go up to your subconscious and find out what belief system is causing that emotion. And then you got to change it. You got to reprogram it so that you can no longer be ran by a belief system that is outdated and it does no longer serve you. So you got to upgrade your operating system. That's what we're talking about here. When you do that, then you can tap into your higher torus, your higher mind. When you tap into your higher mind operates outside linear time. So now synchronicity starts to flow in your life. People come into your life that all of a sudden they have the answers or what you need, and things start flowing at much higher, faster rate. Anybody ever experience that? Yeah. Does this make sense? Okay. So within your higher mind, you have soul purpose. That starts to get activated. Your higher mind's always trying to reach out and give you guidance. You need to get through the old operating system to get to the higher mind. So I like to move that energy, that stuck energy, get stuck down here. So contemplative meditation. Before I go to bed, I would focus on my day. Okay, where was I out of alignment? Okay, I'll start to correct that and bring things back into alignment every night. Contemplative meditation. For about 20 minutes, I'll fall asleep. And then I'll start dreaming about that as well. And in my dreams, I'll have answers come to me. So we can also, before we go to bed, we can do a meditation practice. I'd like to share this one with you. We have negative emotions, stuck emotions down in the lower centers in the 3 chakras here. And if we have trauma and we keep reflecting on that, it gives us a bellyache, right? Start getting a tummy ache when we're thinking about the breakups and how we got fired and that person took our job. Yeah, so all those emotions are stuck down here. We can move that energy, we can transmute that energy and use it in the higher levels. And how I do that is a breathwork technique. And in a sitting position, you can move that energy. You're gonna hold your breath. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna teach you this technique. It's 4 steps. Okay, you have a muscle down here. It's between your sex organ and your anus. It's a perineum. Okay, you're gonna squeeze that. Squeeze that muscle. And then you're gonna bring in your stomach, your lower abs. You're gonna squeeze your abs. And then you're gonna hold that while you take a deep breath, slow breath. And as you take a deep, slow breath, you're gonna imagine that energy coming up through your heart, through your spine, all the way to the top of your crown. When it reaches your crown, you're gonna squeeze it even harder, and you're gonna force it. You're gonna bear down, and you're gonna bring it up here. Okay? It's gonna stimulate the pineal gland when you do that, because the spinal fluid is gonna move up into this cranium area, and that cranium area of fluid squeezes on the pineal gland, and the pineal gland is going to be activated. You might see some stars, you might see some lights, and if you do this several times, you're gonna start to move that energy up here. And you do it every day through a practice and a routine. So if we can practice that every day before we go to bed or when we wake up. When we wake up, we tend to step into that automatic body routine. The body has that routine, right? So we just step into that. So to break that routine, we can practice this meditation and bring that stuck energy up. And when you do that 3 times really well, you'll start to feel your toroidal field wobble. Okay? And it feels like this. You ever felt that? You felt that, right? Okay, so let me talk about this technology we brought to the table.
Hi, I'm Ianltons, co-founder of Spiritual Gangster, and I'm in Sedona, Arizona. I just had an incredible experience at the treatment session. An hour in the grounding chair with meditation. I feel like incredibly balanced and awesome.
I'm activated right now. My cells are just jumping around. There's a really high frequency. I feel like all throughout my body. I feel like really just like you can it's like up in my head, but like not my head, but like my head.
I feel activated. I feel magnetized. And I'm still trying to process what it is, but I just know I feel amazing.
Yay, this works. This is outrageous. You want to get into the right vibe fast? Get this. This is outrageously good.
Hi guys, I'm going to show you why you need the iTorus. It protects me from 5G and radiation or bad frequencies. It makes my frequency from 432 to 528 like nature. We use this one for protection, and we use this one for the whole house.
The moment I sat down, I immediately felt
like just a jolt of energy. I can't really explain it, and I was like,
My activation experience was mind blowing. I honestly have been struggling to drop in to the depths of meditation of where I've gotten before. I have a lot going on. I've been out of my practices somewhat, and I was able to come in here and access a meditation that I haven't been able to get to in a while.
It was incredible. It was actually a lot more of a physical experience than I expected. I've been following you guys for a long time, and I didn't know you had this tour in Sedona this weekend, and I was so excited to get a chance to sit in the chamber, and it was really fascinating feeling the energy through actually my physical body and feel those pulsations and the waves of energy.
I don't think I'm fully back. I felt just pulses of energy. It just felt like a wave. I felt like I was suspended in like waves of energy.
And as a very sensitive being and a channeler, I'm so sensitive to energy. So after a while being here, I could feel the density of the people, because there are different people, different level of consciousness and different energies. So I started to have a headache, and I arrived at ground floor at Conscious Life Expo, and I just entered under in this pyramid with of light, golden and crystals, and the headache is gone.
oh my goodness, what the heck did I do? So we're gonna get one of these and start for your dinner. Look at that.
I heard about the frequencies that will help with bone repair. So when I had my tooth taken out, I would sleep with it, I would hold it up, I would play it over and over again for hours. And it really helped heal.
It's only been a couple of months that I play the fibrosis frequency a few days out of the week, and I feel about a third of it has shrunk or gone away, disappeared. I don't know, but it amazes me how fast it is working.
I went out and I ended up buying the Isaac pendant and also the i2, and I use it with my clients. I use it for myself maybe, but I've been able to really make a shift for people, mainly in the space of nerve pain. Like, this has been such a game changer.
Okay, so what's going on here? So we have an iTours app that you can download on your iPhone or your Android phone, play the specific frequency that you desire for your specific condition or state of mind. And right now we're playing 20 hertz for pain and swelling, and we're spinning a magnetic field. So we're creating a rotating magnetic field. As you can see, the copper, it goes around the torus clockwise and counterclockwise. So we're creating a phase conjugate electromagnetic field where all the waves are compressing into the center point, much like a black hole. We have 4 different sizes. The pendant size you can wear around, it creates a 3-foot field. The next step up is the handheld, and that's a really great mobile unit. It has a 6-foot field. And then the i5, which is what we're demoing here, it has a 24-foot field. So you can use these for targeted therapy or for bioactive field. This is creating a 55-foot field right now, depending on what frequency we're playing. And last week I was in Mexico installing this chandelier with an i9 in it. So this i9 is creating a bioactive field. It spans out to 55 feet in diameter. That's 2,300 square feet. And so we're installing this over a cold plunge in a hot tub scenario. And this is connected to a stem cell clinic. So they're using this technology in the stem cell clinic. The i5, they're using it on their patients in the chiropractor room. And many other clinics and spas are starting to use this technology. Now, when I was there, just a week ago, I was up there on the scaffolding, and this chandelier weighs 40 pounds. And I was down there holding it and manipulating it like a gorilla. And at some point, I threw my back out. And I have a tendency to throw my sciatica SI joint out because I have a fused ankle over here, triple fusion, so my gait's always off. It's always throwing off my hips. And at this moment, I threw my hip off. And for about 3 days, I did some therapy with the i5. I got back in the gym. And I was hanging out at the Jungle Gym in Tulum. Has anybody been to Tulum, Jungle Gym there? They have all these unique weights. They're made out of jungle material. So I was working out with a trainer, and he was teaching me how to do squats without injuring my back. Mind you, I just injured my back, so I was a little bit tender, and I shouldn't have been doing any of that stuff. But the trainer was like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm a PJ, right? I can take the pain." But I wasn't listening to my body, and I was just muscling through it. He had me do 3 sets of squats, some other one-legged squats, and then by the end of the workout, I was pretty gassed. I went home, and it wasn't until the next day I woke up, and I had to catch an airplane like in 3 hours. I had to pack up my room, and all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know, I can't get out of bed. My back's locked up, and I can't sit on the toilet. Nothing was working. Has anybody ever had that happen where their back locks up, can't stand up straight? Well, that happened to me a week ago, and I couldn't walk. I was walking like this. Well, the iTours 5 was my go-to tool, 1 to 3 hours a day on a heavy injury like that. And I made it to the airport, I made it home, and I didn't think I was gonna be here. I didn't think I was gonna be able to be on stage. But because I use this tool, I'm able to be here. You go ahead and stand up, walk around. Maybe come to our booth later and let me know.
Yeah, I will, thank you.
All right. So we have a booth down at the exhibit hall. Come by and check it out. We also have a wellness center in Sedona. So it's about a year old, not even a year. And what we have there is something very unique. See the structure here? Imagine that 10 feet tall, and you can sit inside of it. And we have these on each of the 6 corners. When you lay in there, there are toroidal fields pulsing through you from 6 different angles. So you have this equilateral pyramid, this perfectly balanced structure with toroidal fields aimed at you from 6 different directions. So we're realigning, when you lay in there, we're repatterning and realigning the multidimensional being, the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. We also have hyperbaric oxygen chambers. And what we've done that's unique there is we've placed hyperbaric oxygen, and we've placed these coils here on the outside. So we're pulsing the magnetic field through the hyperbaric oxygen chamber. And as you lay there, we also put headphones on you so you can do a guided meditation and do your breath work under oxygen. And we have you sandwiched between 2 toroidal fields. And we also have a smaller one. You can take one of these inside with you, so you can do targeted therapy while you're inside the hyperbaric chamber. So the 2 therapies are enhancing itself. So I invite you guys to come to Sedona for a free tour of the facility and try out our equipment. If you're in town, is anybody here local, Phoenix? Okay, so if you come to Sedona, we're in the center of town, right off the intersection of 89 and 179. It's called iPyramids, you can't miss it. That concludes my presentation today. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.